shit. All right, there we go. Am I center?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we looking good?
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna cut that portion out. But all right,
Don't even, bro. I like it. It's authentic. And
he said
I
it's
want
all.
you, I
It is,
want the people
yeah.
to know. I want the people to know how good you look in that gold do
What
rag right
goes
now.
on behind the
All right, all
scenes,
right.
you
I'll
know?
leave it in. I'll leave it in. I'll leave it in. But this is the first recording of the Wednesday night wake up. I'm your host. I am one of your hosts. We have three on this one. One of your hosts. I am Jordan Altyd overrein, as you can see in the corner. At least it should show it in the corner. It's not showing it in the corner. Oh, let me make it show it in the corner. There we go. I am Jordan Altyd overrein, and then my co-host. I'm gonna go from left to right. So go ahead from the left.
Well, for me, I've got top and bottom and not left and right. So I'm assuming it's me.
It is
Uh,
you.
it's Brandon, Branddoggy, Brandesius, Brand Muffin, whatever you want to call me. It's all good.
All right, all
It's
right, all right,
it's STG or Sinan the Great.
all right. So
Or just Sinan.
we got Sinan, we got Brandon. You got your boy Altyd, and this is a podcast style broadcast. To get the full experience, you definitely can watch on YouTube, youtube.com/Altyd. Or you can, if you are listening on any of our other streaming websites, such as Spotify, Apple Music, we greatly appreciate you being here. So today we are going to be talking about relationships in general
Hey, Jordan.
and how we feel about
YouTube.
them. What?
YouTube.com Altyd doesn't work, by the way. Don't use it.
Don't
Slash
don't don't
Altyd doesn't work.
don't use that. Don't use that. I'll change it to where it's slash alt. It does work eventually.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't work until you get a certain status on your channel.
Yeah.
yeah, I remember back in the day when you could just like for YouTube, you could just put whatever you wanted for your link.
Oh
Kind
yeah.
of like a Reddit username.
Yeah, because I remember if you go to youtube.com/MLSA gaming or MLS gaming, that works, or at least it should work.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
that
made that
works.
channel. Yeah, because that channel's super old. That channel's like what 2013, I think.
Yeah.
There's no
really-
video.
Yeah, there is no videos, but the channel is super old. So you go to youtube.com/MLS gaming, it shows up like our channel shows up. But yeah, back on task, the task at hand. We're gonna be giving our takes on things that plague our mind. That's what the Wednesday night wake up is for. We're just gonna talk about stuff plaguing our mind, plaguing our existence. And one of the things that me and the brand master
You're plagued by
himself,
existence, Brandon.
yeah, one thing that
Brand
me and
master, I love
the
it.
brand master himself have been talking about recently is women, how this generation in particular, we do have opposite. We have really drastic age range differences here, which is perfect because we could talk about it from three different perspectives. Brandon being a millennial, me and the young great one himself, we're both Generation Z, but he's at the very end of Gen Z, and I'm at the beginning of Gen Z.
Yeah.
And I'm at the very end of millennial.
And he's a very end of millennial, yeah. So we do have three different generations here. We're gonna talk about this from like basically generational gaps, how we see the shit going on. But you guys have the itinerary. Brandon, let me start with you. Go ahead with the first topic.
Well, I believe the first topic we're just going to talk about preferences. So
Yeah.
there's a couple things that we want to pinpoint on with preferences. It's not just how I feel, like what I want. I can sit here and say all day that I like a big booty white bitch, but that's not what we're talking about when we're talking about preferences.
I
We're
mean, if you
talking
prefer
about,
that, you prefer that, my G. You feel me?
Oh, I do. That's a fact. But but here's the thing: is we're not here to talk about what we want or what Jordan wants or anything. We're here to talk about what everybody wants. It's what
Facts.
people have preferences that might be wildly different from mine. It might
So
be pretty similar, but
this
yeah,
is
that's what we're going to
more
talk about.
this is more of like a commentary on just the generation. So all these things, from my understanding, is just we're just talking about generation as a whole. Like, what preferences do we see in other people in our generation?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
going to be about preferences
So
that
it's
might
not about
differ.
us.
Yeah, so I mean,
No,
it can be. We can
we'll
express
get
what we like.
yeah,
Yeah.
Talk
It's
about what you
also
like, but
about like what our generation likes,
yeah.
what your generation likes, and what people like.
Yeah. We'll run back off, obviously, to what we like and as ourselves. Brandon, I'll let you continue to start off. Like, what do you see preference wise? What do you? Oh, let me attack you personally. You said you like a big booty white bitch, right? Let me ask you.
Okay.
Let me get a why out of that. Why?
What do you mean? Why?
Why?
Isn't it plain to see?
He said, "Isn't it plain to see?" That's crazy.
Hey,
I
Sound
mean,
like a
I
wise
can
wizard.
understand. I can understand that not everybody is into asses, but I am.
okay,
Ass
that's
over
facts.
tits. That's mo. That's my mo.
Fun fact for the day: sexualizing anything that's not a sexual organ is technically considered a fetish. You have a butt fetish, my guy. That's not a sexual organ, my knee.
Oh, that's damn.
Yeah,
I didn't even think
it
about it
makes it
like
I
sound
feel
that.
gross.
like that's
It makes it sound
that's
grosser, doesn't it?
offensive, though.
That
Yeah,
does make it sound a little gross, but I
It
mean,
sounds yeah.
yeah.
but I
It
could.
sounds kind of yikes, but
Yeah.
it makes sense.
It makes
Hey,
it sound gross, doesn't it? Yeah. So sexualizing anything that's not a sexual organ, aka the penis or the vagina, sexualizing anything saying you like it in a sexual way makes it a fetish.
So, are you calling me out for eating ass right now?
I eat ass too.
Okay, okay. A man
So
of
we don't
honor, a man of respect.
I eat ass
Okay,
too. So
okay,
we ain't gotta talk about that, my G. My
okay.
G. We can gloss over that like we didn't even say it, my guy. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, my G. You feel me?
All right, let's bring it back to the actual meat and potatoes of our conversation, and not just trolling.
The other meat and
Uh,
potatoes.
the meat and potatoes, yeah. So we're gonna talk about like preferences as what we actually look for in a long-term relationship,
Well,
because
what do
ultimately
you look
that's
for
the
in the long
goal.
term? Yeah, what do you look for in the long
Well,
term, big dog?
well, I'll get to that in a second, but ultimately the goal for everybody, and correct me if I'm wrong, and you might be one or two people that don't want to do this, ever have no desire, but ultimately the goal is to find a long-term partner and be with them
Hmm.
for a long period of time, forever ideally.
Yeah.
Uh,
Humans are we're monogamous. We're monogamous social animals. So yeah.
we're
Some. I
monogamous.
mean, there's some people who aren't monogamous.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
saying
But
the human race as in general. I'm talking about genetically, biologically. We're monogamous. We're monogamous social animals. That's just how
no,
we're.
we're
Oh
not.
well, the women are monogamous
Biologically, we're
social animals. Yeah,
non-monogamous.
men
yeah,
biologically aren't. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah,
Yeah,
societally speaking, we're monogamous social animals.
I'd say
yeah.
society. Yeah, just
Societally speaking,
mostly society.
yeah, because
Depending, because some countries do have multiple wives.
yeah. Well, we're
Yeah,
talking about
that's true.
we're talking about
America,
NA here.
America,
Yeah, this is NA,
Western society. Western
Western
society.
society.
Western, yeah.
So you asked me about my preferences.
What do you feel?
Uh,
What do you feel like you like long term in a relationship? Not in a woman, but in a relationship. What do you look for in a relationship long term? Because a woman long term, like you might like something in a woman long term, but it might not be healthy for a relationship long term. You feel me?
I understand what you're saying, and I think
Mhm.
I've grown enough in my relationship experience to kind of identify those early on. But
Okay.
I'm also glad that you asked me, just not just including women, because like this is what I look for in friends too, like lifelong friends.
Yeah. In a
Yeah.
Um,
long term relationship.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
relationships in general. We're not specifically talking about like romantical relationships. Just
Yeah.
this is just a relationships overall.
exactly. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that distinction has been made early on. It's really it's a feeling, and I know it when I experience it, but it's mostly a learning thing. Like I want to be able to learn from somebody. I want to be able to share passions with
Mm-hmm.
somebody,
Yeah,
and it
and you
might
don't listen
not.
to me in the bot lane still. You want to learn.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't want to. I don't want to learn from you, Sinan. I've already established that. No, but it's really like I want to find somebody that might not share complete like commonalities with myself, because nobody wants that. Nobody wants a clone. We talked about
Opposites
that the other
attract.
day.
Yeah. Opposites
Yeah,
attract.
but
Yeah.
just somebody that might take the same approach or the same attitude or anything like that towards something, and they have the ability to show me and are also interested in what I have to show them.
Okay. So
That's fair.
you're very broad in what you look for in a relationship, which is good. Which means
Well, I
you're
want
not
to point out
picky.
that sounded very, very broad,
It
but
does.
realistically, to the degree that I'm looking for, like on a specific level, it's very hard. It's very uncommon to find.
You think it's uncommon to find because you probably haven't been looking in the right places.
You know what? You're probably right. I have been noticing a
You live
pattern
in
with myself.
Washington.
Well, I
Or
mean, if we
even
talk about where I'm looking, is it's on dating apps
No.
like
even
Tinder,
even if
Hinge, and
yeah,
shit.
like even it doesn't. The state doesn't matter, right? It's the fact that he's
Hmm.
probably not looking at the right types of girls. Because as you could tell, you heard what he said, what he likes in a female, somebody that he can learn from and experience things new and grow as a person, right? But then
Hmm.
he went and said on a face value, because we are men take shit at face value. He wants a big booty white bitch. Is a big booty white bitch gonna be able to teach you shit? Yeah, there are some out there, right? But you're definitely not. You're probably not looking at the right ones.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
yeah.
looking on dating apps. That's kind of like dating apps have a very small percentage of successful relationships.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
Nah. Nah,
You
it's
don't
like
think so?
45%.
it's true. It's actually not as low
Like,
as you might think, especially
Yeah,
really?
it's
for
like
your
45 to
generation.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 45
I
to
would think
60%. It's crazy.
I would think
Yeah.
it's a lot lower. I would think it's like 10%.
Nah, it's like 45 to
Nope.
literally. I think last time I looked, it was like in like 2017 or something like that. Like 65% of relationships start online. Like it's a
And
crazy number.
Well, they start
that
online,
was
but I'm saying
more.
successful relationships though.
Well, it has to
Yeah.
thing. So to define a successful relationship, Sinan.
Um, they get married and don't have a divorce.
Okay, so a successful relationship is a relationship where one person watches the other one die. Right?
Not necessarily. I
Well,
mean,
that's
Yeah.
what you just
it's a
defined.
happy. I mean, it's a happy relationship. Like throughout their whole life, it's generally like a good relationship. Like obviously,
So
there's going to be arguments. There's arguments in
So
every
let me ask
relationship,
you.
no
Let me
matter how
ask you
good it
this.
is.
So do you attribute success in a relationship to longevity then? Because that's what it sounds
Yes.
like.
to longevity.
Okay.
So
So
people could be together
longevity
for
and the happiness of both parties, though, and the happiness of both
happiness.
parties.
Well,
So
okay,
happiness and longevity.
okay. Yeah, I can see where you would get that from. Happiness is a very subjective thing because
Yeah.
longevity can be measured. You
Hmm.
know, happiness
Hmm.
can be measured, but like it's very subjective on the measurements. So like what I deem as a successful relationship probably is around the same parameters. It's kind of hard to explain what's a successful relationship, but you know, like what is it? It's
Yeah.
like a ridiculous. It's like more than half. Like it's like 55% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, nigga, more than half of the relationships in the world don't work anyways.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's a relatively new thing
Okay.
though. That's not even that's modern day.
That's modern day society, yeah. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, why not take risks and try online dating? Because the majority of relationships start
Fair.
online anyways, especially with the social disconnect that we suffer now, especially after COVID, with the modern day technological age. It's so crazy. You might as well just take that risk. Brandon is older. Brandon is from the generation that did go out and meet people, right? Because you're a
Hmm.
millennial. He was from the generation that went out
Here we
and
go. Here we go.
met people, but so it's harder
Um,
for him probably to.
I found statistics. So 30% of adults say they've used a dating app.
Mhm.
23% of those say they've gone on a date with someone from a dating app, and 12% have been in a committed relationship or married. So it's more 12% are relationships, committed or married relationships from dating apps.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we'll go with the broader number. So so roughly around 30% of people that go on it, they use dating apps, right?
Hmm.
So and what was it? What was the second number? Like 20% or whatever. Say they're going on a date.
23% go on a date.
So
Yeah.
okay, so we'll just round up. 25% go on a date, right? That's still
Yeah, here. On that note, while 30% of US adults have used online dating, only 12% of US adults say they found a committed relationship or got married as a result.
we're gonna we're gonna backtrack to the 23% because those people go on
Hmm.
dates and dating is ultimately what we're talking about here. I think
Yeah.
because like marriage is marriage as a social like marriage is falling out, bro. Like nigga, like people aren't really fucking with marriage anymore.
Yeah, no.
Like the
Less and
amount of
less people get
marriages,
married or
yeah,
get more divorced. Well, that's also because around like 60, 70, 80 years ago, divorce has been more normalized and like less frowned upon. Because it used to be very frowned upon.
it still is.
Yeah, it
It
still
still
is,
is.
but just
You
not
say
as much
marriage or no, divorce is
divorce.
frowned upon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
still is.
absolutely is.
It still is. It's still just an awful thing because you're wasting your time with somebody that you don't ultimately want to be with. It's a waste of time, and yeah, it's just a waste of time. But Sinan, what do you think you prefer in a relationship? What do you think? Because you are in a relationship. Sinan is the only one here that is in a committed relationship currently,
That's
and
actually true. The youngest one is in a
he's the
committed
youngest person. He's the
relationship.
youngest person on the panel, and he is the only one in a relationship currently.
Yeah.
He's been
So
Wait,
going
so
10, 11
repeat the
months
question,
strong.
please. Yeah,
what what do you
yeah, like a 10 months.
almost a year. We're just gonna
Yeah,
round up to
almost
a
a year.
year.
Hmm.
So he's been in a relationship for about a year. What do you think you look for? What do you think is good for a long term relationship? What do you think is
What
good? Like, what do you prefer? What do you think you prefer?
communication 100%.
Communication is a very important trait for sure.
I'd argue that is a very important thing. Both parties need to communicate
For
when
sure.
they're upset, why they're upset. They need to communicate like what another one did wrong without having to argue. Like you need the communication, but without the arguing.
Yeah, that,
Can you provide some examples of times that you might have had to do this in your own relationship? Like you don't have to tell us like
it's
your
specifics, but
problems,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
just like say some time that you communicated well with your partner and it provided a positive outcome that may
Um,
could have been negative.
Yeah, because it is different for all of us being date because
like
we all
what do you
date
mean?
different age groups, so it might
Like
be
it could
different.
have it could have been negative if we didn't do that communication.
Yeah, you just
Well,
yeah,
yeah. So like,
yeah.
don't it doesn't even have to just be negative. Just like something that could have been misconstrued or something that just could have gone the wrong way if you guys didn't take the necessary communication steps to talk about it and exchange information.
Um, Well, how one person like upset the other. Like, let's say one of us accidentally upsets the other, and you'll see this a lot of times in relationships. Like one person upsets the other, but the other just doesn't say anything, and nothing happens. They don't talk about it. I feel like if that just keeps happening and happening, eventually that just builds up and it keeps building up. The other person upsets the other, they stay quiet, they don't say anything. And it builds up over time and eventually, the bottle breaks and like a huge fight can break out. Like
Yeah,
it's just a bigger argument. So I think
yeah,
just like even the smallest things like is good to communicate about because it's like holding your emotions in, like you're not really supposed to hold them in. You keep holding them in, the bottle breaks.
That's
for
true.
sure. And
And as
I
men, we typically try to
we
do
do that.
that.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
Yeah.
attribute to that. I'll be the first one to say whenever I meet a new female, like if I get close to them, right, the first thing I would say is communicate with me. I'll communicate back. You talk to me, I'll talk to you. Right? We're not gonna argue or fight. I have never started an argument with a female. I have never yelled at anybody I've never yelled at all, ever. I'll yell for like fun. Like they've heard me like yell, but like it's always for fun. Like I've never yelled because of anger, out of anger, ever in
Hmm.
my life. I've never yelled out of anger, ever.
I've
I think
never
that,
heard you like genuinely angry like before.
yeah,
I've heard you irritated. I've heard
I
you
do get irritated
irritated,
sometimes.
but
I get annoyed, but like I never get angry, right? Like that's not
Mhm.
really a thing with me, so I never yell out of anger. I tell my partner, communicate with me, I'll communicate with you, right? But I'll be the first one to attribute this. If they're doing something that annoys me, I won't say anything. And then eventually, and they'll do it so much to the point where I'm like, I can't fucking take it anymore. And
Yeah,
then
and
like,
that's what I was talking
yeah,
about.
and
Like
then like
that's not good.
I do like a baby snap. It's not like me yelling. It's more like I'm showing my frustration, but I do it calmly, which is always good. It's better to show frustration calmly than it is to be rowdy about it. But it should,
yeah,
like Sinan said, it shouldn't get to that point. Like I feel like if I could just talk about what the things that they do that irritate me, like shit wouldn't. I'd be in a relationship right now. No cap.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
would.
No cap.
Yeah,
There's
you
like
would.
there's been like 4 or 5 different girls. Like literally, I could backtrack 4 or 5 different girls that I've been with, right? And like I'd be with like that first one out of those 5 because I communicated properly. Because of my lack of communication, I'm currently not with her. I would currently be in a 6-year relationship right now if I communicated properly. I would be in a 6-year relationship right now.
Damn.
Yeah, because we stopped. Like I couldn't communicate properly, like about the things that she did that irritated me. Right? She would always tell me the things that I did that irritated her, and I would stop doing them. Right? But there was like some tics and stuff that she did that irritated me. To eventually, I was all like, "You need to go to your mom's house," because we lived together. And then after that we just full seperated. And
that's what I'm talking about. That's what kind of like destroys like the relationship.
And if I straight up, if I had just told her, if I was like, "Hey, you're doing this. I don't like it. Let's try and fix it," right? She 100% would have been willing to. I almost guarantee. And I highly doubt that she is watching this, but if you are, I know for a fact you know who you are. Because I've only ever told 2 girls that I've dated to go to their mom's house. And the most recent one, it would not be 6 years with the most recent one, because the most recent one was only a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think I know who it is. I think I know.
Yeah, I've only ever told 2 girls to go to their mom's house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but, and I still, like, I tell myself this. I have told myself this a lot in the past year, particularly. I'm like, I didn't treat her badly, but I definitely could have been better.
Yeah.
Also, what goes along with that, like, not just relationships with partners, but also with friends. Like, open up to your friends, you know?
Yeah, like, you guys can. We can all communicate better with our friends. I think our group in particular, we're all real good at telling each other what annoys us with each other. Like, we're all real good about that. We all communicate. Yeah. I feel like we communicate as a group better than anybody I've ever met.
Yeah, but that's also because we don't. Well, it depends. We also don't, because we've been friends for so long. We also don't necessarily like care so much if we hurt the other's feelings. Because we know eventually we're just everything will be fine. Like,
well, that's the whole point of like true relationships. So I should be able to tell you something. I should be able to criticize you constructively, and you take it as constructive criticism, as opposed to you taking it as me personally attacking you. And that's something
Brandon
that's really bad.
I was just doing this with Jordan earlier today. He was telling me what to do on TFT.
I guess it's different with video games. It is different with video games than like actual personal stuff. It is different with video.
Yeah. Because there are some things like for example, I'm gonna use Sinan as an example. Like 3-4 years ago, like this kid was a child and he was annoying as fuck, and we all told him that he's annoying as fuck and that he needs to chill, and he chilled. Like he didn't get angry about it. Like that's just a good example. Another thing with like
it did like not feel great, but also
it doesn't feel bad to take criticism, but as long as it's done constructively, like we're telling you, like if you're getting told, as long as you're not attacking personally, right? And like don't take it personally, like as personal attack, because maybe somebody's trying to better you as a person. There's been things told about me that I've had to fix. Like I could be overzealous or too nice. Right? I could be overly nice. And that's a thing. Being overly nice is a thing, right? Being a pushover, that's a thing. Like, I'm not anymore. And I recently stopped doing this within the last 4 to 5 months. Like, this is recent for me. Because I've been told this, like, hey, you need to toughen up. Straight up. Like, I was the manager at a restaurant, and my general manager was all like, hey, you need to toughen up. You're too nice. You're too nice. You need to toughen up, or like we're gonna have to fire you. So like, it's a turning point. It's a click in the head. Like, okay, maybe this thing is something wrong with me. Maybe I do need to change it. That's like communication is super important in that regards, because you can communicate with everybody. Just be honest about how you feel and the things that they do that may bother you. Tell them the things that they do that you like. Actually, I compliment these kids all the time about things that, like, I tell Sinan all the time that he is my favorite cousin.
Well, like you will meet people who, if you do communication, it's for both parties though. Like if you communicate just fine, that doesn't mean the other party will. Like
Yeah.
you can communicate just fine with someone, and like you can talk to them and stuff. But if the other party is taking things offensively, or they get angry, or they just don't want to listen, it has to go both ways. And
Yeah.
you shouldn't be like super afraid to hurt your friends or partner's feelings if you know that it's it's gonna help them. And
That's
but
facts.
also I think you should make it clear that you're not trying to hurt their feelings, that
That's facts.
you just want to talk to them, you just want to tell them what's bothering you, and that you're not trying to judge them or anything. You're just letting them know. And if the other party isn't willing to communicate and it just starts an argument, then you guys probably just weren't meant for each other.
That's
Yeah.
facts. That's facts.
Yep.
It's
I want to come in here real quick with 2 points. The first point is I like that you said that don't be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings, is because it is that feeling that
yeah.
grows a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if you don't have that feeling, nothing changes. That is the change. It's
Yeah.
the feeling. So if you are being told something and you don't like feel bad or feel like disgusted or just feel negative about it in some way, then you're really probably not going to change it.
For sure. For sure.
Because that means you don't care. So the
Yeah.
second thing, it kind of ties on to the fact that you don't care. A good tactic is suggestive reasoning. So you're making these logical points, but if you're using it in a way that points at like you do this wrong and this is right, that automatically, it's like a kid that wants to do whatever parent tells them not to do. That
Hmm.
automatically makes somebody subconsciously not want to do what you're telling them. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can
Well, and it also kind
phrase
of feels like an
things,
attack.
yeah, that's exactly what it is it feels like an attack, and nobody wants to be
Which,
attacked.
I mean, in some cases, yes, it is. Like, not all cases are going to be like someone says something wrong with someone and they're just trying to help them get better. Sometimes some people just say that to insult them.
Yeah, like I've definitely been attacked by people that are like much better than I am at something or just higher role model than me, and like it has been effective. But for most people, it doesn't work that way. Like more often than not, like on a peer-to-peer level, it doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
and that's what the relationship is.
Yeah.
It's a
It's peer to
peer-to-peer
peer.
level.
Yep.
The relationship is equal in all relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, everything. You're equal. Like,
Yeah.
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 no
That's
one
it.
is higher than the other.
So a
Yeah. For
good thing to
most of
do,
them are peer to peer. Yep.
right? So a good thing to do in those peer-to-peer situations would be phrasing it in a way that you're suggesting an idea and it makes the other person have the idea organically. It's not really organically. If you're not that good at it, they're going to realize, but they're also going to realize what's good for them.
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
met people that can do that to people and they never even realize, and I'm looking at it happen to me right in front of my face, like the interaction between the two. More specifically, it happens at work.
Mhm.
Um, but
I mean, sometimes like even bosses have to like, yes, they're the boss and they are technically in a higher position, but just with some people, like a good boss will know, like use that peer to peer thing to try and reason with them and level.
well, that's
You
like
with
me.
customers, you do it with customers. I'm sure all the time.
Yeah, and that's like me in my position at work. Like, I'm recognized as a boss or a leader or a person of authority, but I hold the same title and position as pretty much everybody else, as majority of the people there. But
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
viewed upon that. So, like, I have to use these tactics because I can't go up to them and just say, hey, if you do this, this is what's happening. I don't have that power. I just have the power of a persuasion or influence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's typically set also by example. That's another thing is setting the example. If you can
Yes.
do something on your own that you're trying to tell somebody else to do, and you can prove that it works, then that's almost in most cases all somebody needs. A smart person needs.
But
Yeah.
using this though, do not like take it the wrong way as to manipulate people using this for your own personal gain. All
That
this is to make the other person a better person or try and help them. People will use these tactics though to like manipulate and make someone feel worse about themselves just so they can like have that higher power in the relationship, whether romantic or friendship.
Yeah.
So you do have to find the balance, and you do also have to realize when someone is doing that to you, because there are people who just naturally want to be higher than everyone, and there are people who unconsciously will use these manipulative tactics, and you also have to realize yourself, are you one of those people?
Yeah.
Yep. The
Yeah.
thing about
Being
that,
toxic is
It's
not
all about
lit.
yeah.
self-realization.
The thing about that though, is you're exactly right. The adverse is people can get out of hand and they can manipulate people for their own good. And that can even happen when you don't even realize that that's what you're doing. And what I mean by
Mm-hmm.
that is when you start to decide what is good for somebody else is when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it has to be somebody deciding for themselves. You
Facts.
can't manipulate somebody into doing something that might objectively be good, but subjectively or perspectively on their end is not, because that's not what they want.
Facts.
So, yeah, that comes in a lot of different ways, and it's a very tricky situation to be in.
Yeah. So I think this is a good part to segue onto the next bullet point. Next bullet point on hand. Go ahead, Sinan. Go ahead and start it off with the
Which
next
one?
bullet point. The next topic.
Which one is it? Is it
The second.
standards or
Yeah,
desire
it's standards.
standards? Okay. Um, Standards. What do you exactly mean by standard? Because
So
we kind of
yeah,
already did talk about our standards in a
yes,
relationship, like what we should be
yes and no. So we
doing.
touched a little bit on standards, and we touched a little bit on desirability as well. We'll get to
Hmm.
that when we get there. But like standards, so a big thing when I think of standards is there's personal standards and then there's societal standards, right? So
Okay.
so everybody has their personal standards. Everybody has what they prefer, like preferences, right? So your preferences and standards aren't necessarily the same. Brandon prefers a big booty white woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is his
It's true.
preference in a woman, right? But maybe his standards might be right, might be slightly different. Like the booty can't be too big. You feel me? Booty needs to be proportionate to the body, right? Right,
Yeah,
right. So
that's valid.
so the preference is the wide, right? The preference is the overarching, and then the standards are the specifics. So the preference is the generalization, right? The standards are the specifics. So specifically, he might like a big booty white girl, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
not too dark white, not too big of a booty, but a big booty enough, preferably like they're like he wants them to be proportioned. So standards are things realistically like preferences are preferences. Standards are things that need to
Oh,
be
that
there.
must
That
that
must be there. Yes,
yes.
that must be like they need to be there. Right?
Yeah.
Like they are the must. If a girl is or if a girl or a guy, but for us, if a woman is does not meet these criteria, regardless of what we prefer in a woman, if they don't meet these certain criteria, we're not fucking with it. You feel me? That's what a
Yeah.
Honestly,
standard is.
okay, a big standard for mine is when it comes to like looks and stuff, um, it's whatever. Like I guess societal standard for look is like well, I guess like have you ever seen the thing that's like this is like what the ideal like face shape of a man is or a woman is, like
Yeah.
that thing?
Yeah.
I think I guess that's what you could call maybe societal standards, but like I said, everyone is different. Like,
Well, the
if only
standards and I
if
go ahead.
99% of people find you ugly and only 1% of the world finds you attractive, that's still like 76 million people, you know? But I guess
Yeah.
if we're going societal standards, that would be like a majority, like people
Yeah.
who you would say are conventionally attractive, people like actors, like famous actors.
Yeah. So standards and ideals are different. I see what you mean,
Like,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but you're taking that's like an ideal. So what somebody
Hmm.
looks like ideally, I think universally as humans, we could all agree on an ideal look. What a man and a woman could ideally look like, and every
Mm,
single man or every single woman would like that particular person, right?
I
That's
don't
the
think
like
we could accomplish that.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. There's an ideal
I don't know.
look.
I stay with Brandon on this.
Well, the majority of people, so more than 50% of the world, 51%. I'm pretty sure there's an ideal look, right?
Yeah. Okay,
I'm,
but
I'm
what I was saying is, so for like my standards is definitely like I like, they say opposites attract and stuff, but that's more
mm-hmm.
personality based. I like someone who shares my interests or is willing to also share my interests with me, like video games or anime,
Yeah.
books, like
So if they're not willing to,
going my favorite places. If they're not willing to like try and enjoy the things I enjoy, and I that goes for me too. Like I want to enjoy the things they enjoy. Like it
facts.
like I said, it always goes both ways. It's
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, it's like a like Newton's third law. For every reaction, there's the
Equal
equal
and
or
opposite
opposite reaction.
reaction. Yep.
Reaction has to be equal. Has to go both ways. So I think that's what's best is just that understanding of what the other person likes and their hobbies and trying to engage with them in that and do stuff together. Doing stuff together is a really important thing. You want to do stuff together and get more of a connection by with the things you
Yeah.
like.
I think that's
Yeah.
a big thing for me, standard wise. So recently. This is recent. This is a recent discovery of mine. I've recently found my worth. Like I recently understood my worth as a person, right? Because there's a lot of things that I can provide. There's some things that I can't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be cocky or bigoted, but I recently understood my worth, what I feel like I'm worth as a person, and what Sinan said, piggybacking off of that, it's not just I don't mind if we don't share interests, but it's the fact it's understanding each other's interests and why we
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it. I think that's huge. That's like a
And
standard that
having
I'm
that
not willing.
time for them to
Yeah,
enjoy their interest, even if you don't like said interest, giving
yeah,
them the time
Yep.
to enjoy it
yeah,
and
yeah.
letting them
That's
do.
a standard. That's 100% a standard for me. Like that's something
And
personality wise. That's something like mentally, but like that's something I'm not willing to let go anymore. Because generally, I used to just
one,
be
yeah,
like, yeah, I used to just like push it aside, be like whatever, and I just stop doing the things that I like or enjoyed to go do the things that they liked and they enjoyed. To this day, to this very day, there's only been one girl, one time that I've ever been with that we went out and did something that I enjoyed, right, while we were together, right.
that was
And
the
I'm obviously not with this girl anymore. And I
what
don't
was that
even
the concert?
yeah. It was the J. Cole concert. She took me to the J. Cole concert and it was fantastic. She broke up with me on the car ride back from the J. Cole concert, and now I can't listen to J. Cole. But
Yeah.
but that was the only time I've been out with a female and we did something that I enjoyed as opposed to them enjoying, and they said they wanted to go and take me to do it because that's something I enjoyed and they enjoyed seeing me enjoy something, right?
Yeah.
Obviously that wasn't the case, but that's neither here nor there. Um, and I think that's something I'm not willing to let go anymore. Like, I don't care if you like the
You
things
let
that I
that a
like.
lot ago in your like most recent long-term relationship. I know you let that go a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is yeah.
You
I'm
never
not.
really went out to do stuff. You just went to work, and then some days you wouldn't even like get on and play.
Yeah, like now I'm not willing to do that. Like when I don't care if you don't like the things I like. I like weird shit. Okay, I like to talk about sociology and theoretical physics for fun. You don't have to like that shit, right? But 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 if it's something I enjoy,
Just
let me
listen.
rant.
Just listen.
Let me rant.
Like,
Let me rant. If it's
right,
something
Jordan?
I like, yeah, just listen. If it's something I like, you don't have to be invested in it. I don't mind if you're not invested in it, but let me enjoy it, right? The moment that
Mhm.
you take that enjoyment away from me is the moment that we have issues. I think that's something I'm not willing to let go anymore. That is 100% a standard. And the thing is, I don't even have standards, really, because I don't really look for anything in particular in a female. I don't really have preferences I have preferences. Like I prefer a white girl or an Asian girl in particular.
Yeah.
I prefer them to be shorter than me, and I prefer them to not be extremely skinny. You know, like to be my size, preferably. And as you guys can see, I'm not very big. I'm not super big or anything like that. But like, I have
But
preferences.
that
Yeah, but I don't.
doesn't like ultimately, if it's the right person, it wouldn't matter to you.
Yeah, Yeah. I have preferences, but I don't really have standards, and I think that's the only thing I'm not willing to let go ever again. I don't care if you don't know how to cook, you can't clean, I can do all that shit. If you're taking away from my enjoyment from something that I enjoy, or you're not willing to
You
understand
like to
why I
cook
enjoy
anyway.
it, then I can't do it. That's like
Yeah, I
my one
respect
thing.
that.
That's my one
Mhm.
thing. The one thing. But Brandon, what's one thing? What's something that you that need to be there? That need to be there.
Um, well, first off, I want to point out that you're in Discord. Your cam just went black.
Oh, just now?
Yeah, like we can't see
Yeah,
you.
it's looking for the phone.
Yeah.
Hold on.
We'll give you a moment to fix that, and I'll talk about this while you're doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Go ahead and talk while I'm fixing it.
So, we're talking about my standards, right? Instead of my preferences and things that I feel
Yeah,
like I need to have.
yeah,
In that department, I kind of think that I'm a little bit more fluid than most people. Because I've been with several types of females. I do have like a pattern typically, but the pattern is more like I don't know how to explain my pattern type. I guess maybe it's more psychological than it
yeah.
is anything else. So I guess there's a certain like type of thinker that I enjoy, but I don't know about that. Other than that, I really don't need anything but the ability to be able to learn from and be able to communicate and enjoy life with. That's all I really need. And someone that can work through problems, but I don't need anything else.
So you don't really have anything that must be there.
Not other than that.
There we go. We
You're
got.
back.
Hey, got the cam back.
Ooh, let me set this bad boy up. Hold
There is a um I do like when so I like music a lot. So
Yeah,
liking the same music is kind like I love music. I listen to music all the time. I listen to a bunch of different
there we
artists.
go.
But liking the same kind of music as well. It is a preference. That is a preference, but it does kind of like I do enjoy that a lot more because I like listening to music with people. Music is how we connect with people.
Yeah,
And
it's a good connection
and
route.
I and so it is good to have someone who has the same music taste as you. And me and my partner, we do have the same music taste.
For sure,
So
for sure.
we have very, very similar music taste and we like the same artists. There's artists I like that she doesn't like. There's artists they like that I don't, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah,
um but majority, like I'd say about like 80-90% we share similar, which is
Yeah.
always good. That's
So
always good in a relationship to have the same music,
yeah.
love for music.
So a big thing when I think of standards is like societal standards, right? So when I think of societal standards, this is like my personal assumption on especially modern day dating. I have dated girls that are way older than me. I've dated girls 10 years older than me. And I've also dated girls that are younger than me by 2 years,
You are
right?
an adult. Let's make that clear.
Yes. I'm 22, so I've dated a 20-year-old. I've dabbled with a 19-year-old. That's the lowest I'm willing to go at 22. But so yeah, I've been with the big different age gaps, and a big thing that I see, especially in our current generation, this is one thing I don't. It's something that does bother me, particularly about modern day women. I'm not even gonna say just our generation, but the last two generations, so millennials too, is that so women. I feel like women found out how to play the game, right? And
yeah,
they found out how to play the game. They found out how to beat us at the game in particular, right? Men were playing the game 40, 50, 60 years ago, right? But women caught up and they know how to beat us at the game now. My big thing is I think women know that men take things at face value. Generally speaking, because if you look at women, particularly 50 to 60 years ago, right? A lot of them were like more nurturing and caring. More they were more dependent on their partner, but like they were.
Maybe, but I maybe I kind of disagree because 60, 70 years ago, I think it's more so, like they were more nurturing or caring, I guess, but that was also kind of like the stereotype or at the time that that's how women are supposed to be.
Yeah,
So
like
that's
I'm
how
getting to
like
that.
most of them were. So I kind of disagree on you there on how like women have changed. I feel like they've kind of always been I mean obviously it changes like but I feel like just because which um I'm trying to figure out what I have to say.
Well, if you think about this, biologically, right? Genetically, biologically, us as humans, right? We are still primates. The
Yeah.
woman is supposed to be caring and nurturing.
Mhm.
That is normal. That is biological. That is something that cannot be escaped, right? That is
Unless you're lying.
unless you're lying, yeah. That we're genetically predetermined to that. That's biological, right? So women are supposed to be more nurturing and caring, right? So there's
It
a
doesn't mean they
here
have to be though. That like
genetically they're supposed to be.
yeah,
That's it's a good segue into the next topic. But so there's a trait, right? There's a trait called agreeableness. Have you guys heard of this?
no.
No.
Or explain further.
So agreeableness is how often you are to say yes to a certain or specific scenario, right? And I think it was 8 out of 10 times. So 80% of the time, women are agreeable as opposed to men being only agreeable about 40% of the time. So women are twice as agreeable as men, right? So women are just more willing to do things that they're told, and that's genetic predetermination, right? So yeah, don't get me wrong, humans do evolve, so it has changed over time, right? So that we're gonna take that the genetic predisposition, right? So how women are quote unquote supposed to be. This is not me saying it, but this is genetically speaking. That's how women are supposed to be, right? And let's mark it down to today. So men and women have changed drastically based on how we're quote unquote supposed to be to survive, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
so
also
women have changed their the standards for women have changed so much to the point where men only take things at face value because I'm assuming women just figured out that the prettier they look or the better that they look, the better they present themselves look wise, the more likely they are to find a successful man, which is like I said, genetic predisposure. That is what we're supposed to do: is find a successful partner to lean upon. So they found that the better they look, the more likely they are to find a successful man. And these other things, these other traits, right? This other standards, the other things that were standards 40 to 50 years ago aren't standards anymore, just due to the fact that they lost those they lost those skills, and subsequently men have become softer because they become softer over time. Less They become more agreeable. I should say they have over time. They have become more agreeable as opposed to how they were before. Men make less decisions now, which is perfectly fine, right? But it is a this is a segue into the next topic: desirability. It is a desirable
well,
trait for a man to be able to make these decisions. It
yeah,
is
but it also depends on the person because some men might like a more like masculine woman in their life, but also some prefer more feminine or a woman prefers a more feminine man. This also just doesn't go for like straight relationships. Like these go for both. This goes for gay,
well,
lesbian, like
let's
this.
let's take out the outliers, right? Let's remove the outliers here. Women that
I
prefer
feel like
feminine men, that's an
yeah, but I
outlier.
also feel like now more that I've seen, like especially online, there are men who are starting like I think I think what it is there's men it's kind of been like this for a while. It's just been seen as like if you prefer a more masculine woman, you're more seen as weak because men by society they're supposed to be like the stereotype is the men are supposed to be like the bread makers and like the women stay at home, which obviously like doesn't it's not like that and it shouldn't be like that. Every like um, but I think just now that like because it's just getting more accepted that it doesn't have to be like that and it shouldn't be like that, more people are saying like what they prefer and like Brandon, have you seen like lean beef patty on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, I'm sure you've seen like she is a very masculine woman or a very just masculine presenting woman. And if you look at her comment section, it's a lot of men. Like it's a lot of men that think she's good looking. So what you were saying about how the outliers, I really don't feel like it's outliers. I just think that it's just been like that. It's just getting more accepted where it should be.
So, um, I'm gonna throw this back to science. It hasn't been like that, buddy. Scientifically, genetic predisposure. Like literally, this is how we're made as people. This is in our DNA. It's literally so our human's job, we're still animals, right? We're still animals. Our first instinct, our only instinct is to eat, sleep, and reproduce. Those are our actual instincts as animals, right? We're still animals. That is still like our genetic goal is to reproduce, right? And it is so in our race, the human race, generally speaking, they find mutual matches, which is cool because not a lot of other animals do that, right? But we do have
Other
some,
animals kind of just mate with whatever.
yeah, but we do have some genetic standards that really can't be overturned. For example, yeah, it is different because every brain reacts different to different stimuli, which is very true. Everybody is different, so not everybody thinks the same way, right? So I'm taking the broad overarching thing. I'm not just taking small groups in America. I'm taking like entirety as a human race. There is things that there is like women looking for feminine men. That is a very 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 small subcategory. It's extremely small. Simping ain't pimping. Women in
Facts.
general prefer a more a less agreeable man, a more masculine man. I'm not saying you have to be over masculinity is also a thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
Or
also that's
toxic
not
masculinity.
yeah, that over masculinity that's not good. But hyper femininity also is not something that women generally look for in a man.
Yeah.
A lot of them
Nope.
will say they don't care, and then until it gets to a point where it starts to bother them, because eventually it will. It's the same thing with men with masculine women. They might say they don't care, but eventually it'll get to a point where it starts to bother them, and no fault of their own. Like if you want, you could present yourself or be however you want. More power to you. I literally don't give two fucks who you are or how you present yourself. Be you, be happy, but you understand like you got to understand your market share, like your market share in society, because desirability is a big thing. The majority of women find less agreeable men desirable because they're able to make decisions. They're
Yeah.
able to, they're more masculine. They're able to do the right thing. That's how less agreeable men are in general, right? The more of agreeable
Hmm.
man you are, like eventually you get to the simp category, and we all know simping ain't pimping. Women
Facts.
don't fuck with simps, obviously. Obviously, if they did, then all these simps out here sending all these girls flowers on OnlyFans would have girlfriends. But instead, they're
Yeah.
jerking
Facts.
off to some
Well, that's
random
the,
girl
the
online, sending them fucking flowers and $300
yeah.
Amazon gift cards. Like more power. You can do whatever you want. I don't fucking care. But that's not the like. You're more agreeable. You're more agreeable and less desirable.
Yep.
Well, at a point, like Sims also it can get kind of creepy, you know?
Yeah, simping ain't
Yeah.
pimping. being
like
more agreeable is less
people,
desirable.
people, there was a time where everyone just called a simp, like, oh, you're hanging out with your girlfriend, you're a simp. But honestly, like, what it actually is like, it just like the most like people who are genuinely simps are usually like kind of creepy people who are really pushy and like don't understand boundaries.
Yeah.
That's not even all simps. A lot of people can simp
Yeah.
and just not like you're being more agreeable. Like I'm just gonna more agreeable is less desirable, and that's just that's been proven.
Yeah.
It's literally
Hmm.
been proven. We have empirical data for it. The more agreeable you are as a man, the less desirable you are. Now, I'm not saying be fucking hard headed and super disagreeable. That's definitely not the case. But like, you don't have to say yes. You don't have to be a yes man. Like
Exactly.
you should believe how you
Well,
feel,
both
and
both both parties, like man and woman, they both you need to find the balance of yes and no. But
yeah,
like
it's
I
agreeable. Yeah,
think
there's a
it
balance
should
of
go
agreeableness.
yeah, it needs to be a balance of agreeableness. The woman just can't say yes to everything the man says. That's not right.
Obviously,
And
obviously.
like it goes both ways. There need like it's like some parents can't say no to their child or have a
Yeah.
Yeah, and
hard time saying no to their
Yep.
yeah.
that's not good.
Well,
But
I
yeah,
guess we might have lost our third guest host right here.
Yeah.
that's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not good if a parent can't say no to their child. That's not good. They're too agreeable as a parent. They just let the child do whatever they want. And you see how those children come out. Well, look at
Yeah.
they start shooting up schools and shit. Like we don't want that.
Exactly.
Like there needs to be a
Exactly.
fine line of agreeableness to disagreeableness. Like the more agreeable you are as a person, like the less as a man and
And
particularly as a
also,
guy
if
in
you're
a
too
relationship.
agreeable, people will take advantage of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
You have
Yeah.
that experience, Jordan.
Yeah, and being run
That
over as
happened
a
to you.
person is less desirable as a trait. If a woman sees other people running over you, it's less desirable. And I think it goes the same way both ways because not only
Yeah.
you become more desirable to a man as a woman if you let people run over because they can take advantage of you. But that's a whole different topic for a whole different day.
We should have had the other Jordan in here during this discussion.
Um, and maybe, but yeah, agreeableness is like desirability is a big thing. What makes somebody desirable as a person is a big it's a big thing. Des- like the agreeableness is a big desirability trait. Not only that, but believe it or not, like regardless of what anybody says, obviously appearance is also affects your desirability. Your
Hmm.
communication skills affect your desirability. There are so many things and factors that affect your desirability as a person. Like it's kind of crazy, and women take into account more of those traits than men do in general. Men pretty much we take things at face value. We look at a girl and be like, "Oh, she's pretty. I want to fuck," and that's us taking shit at face value as opposed to women who, yeah, they might like for a very attractive man might take things at face value, but generally speaking, they don't. Women's standards and desirability ratings are a lot higher than men's are, which definitely does make things harder for men in general, especially now, right? Even if the woman might not be conventionally attractive, they might have ridiculous desirability ratings and standards, which is crazy. I'm pretty sure you guys know who Bo Burnham is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, the song "Lower Your Expectations."
Mm.
That song is
Yep.
that song is too real. It's too real
It really is.
for both parties.
Hmm.
For both parties, you can literally pick somebody realistically and fall in love with that person's personality, right? So I have trouble dating in person, and I have trouble dating online. A big reason why is because when you meet me in person for the first time, right? I don't I don't look the way a typical black person would look, right? Which lowers my desirability rating because like obviously it just based on everything. Black women, generally speaking, are more attracted to black men than they are to white men. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. A bunch of shit. We all know. The fucking goddamn, we all know. So
That you're.
relax.
Mm.
So my
We still gotta
person,
throw some jokes in here.
my personality is definitely my strong suit, and everybody should play to your strengths, right? So you should know your desirability, how desirable you are as a person, and I definitely do, right? So I play to my strengths. I know my strength is my personality and the fact that I'm like super duper pooper scooper funny, right?
Mm.
So dating online is hard because it's hard to convey it's hard to convey comedy online. It's hard to convey comedic ability online
I would say over text.
over text. Yeah, when dating online, right, as opposed to in person, right? So there's a thing I like to say, right? I just need the interview, right? That's what I say whenever I'm looking for a job. It's because every interview I've ever gotten, I've been offered the job, even if I didn't take it, because of my personality. I faked my way into positions before, my guy. I faked my way into positions before. Straight up. I was at a call center. I was a call center team lead. I was in training for that, and I was there for 3 months. I had never worked in a call center before in my life, and I've never worked in insurance, but I faked my way into that position.
Oh my god!
Straight up. Me and
Did
my
you tell
mother
them that you
actually.
did?
No, I fucking one day I got up. I literally got up from my desk and walked out one day.
No,
Why?
I'm just
Me
saying.
and my
Like, did
no,
you
did I fake? No,
get?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Me and my mother worked at the same place, and she's actually a team lead up there now. But yeah, like I faked my way into that position. Like I can fake my way into anything because my personality is so great. But like so on that regard, like I say, I just need the interview. I just need you to be able like just to talk to me. Now
Yeah.
the problem is like my outward appearance is so different that like you know it lowered my desirability rating, and I'll admit that. Like I don't dress black. I dress very white. I dress very Caucasian, right? I do. I dress very Caucasian, and I can show you guys my shoes. I own like 72 pairs of Chukka and Chelsea boots, all designer because that's how I dress. I don't own any Jordans. I own the only sneakers I own are Vans. For fuck's sake. I own Vans and NMDs, which are Adidas. I don't own any other types of sneakers. I guess I have a pair of Balenci's, but that's it. I don't own any types of sneakers. Yeah, I dress very
I don't like
Caucasian.
Balenci's. They're like sock shoes. They're ugly.
I like them. I love them. But yeah, that's
I just
yeah.
like Vans.
So when taking things at face value, you know, up front, everybody takes things at face value, and that's how we determine our initial desirability rating. Mine is generally lower based on my appearance, but it raises based on personality. As you can tell, Branddoggy, the brand man himself, obviously it's pretty low because he's fucking ugly. But that's beside the
That's
point.
facts. That's facts.
But like personality, yeah. So in that regards, it's easier for me to date online because I can take decent pictures, right? But like personality shines definitely, and yeah, for when it comes to desirability, I think we can all agree as people that personality is the key factor, even though men do
Facts.
take things at face value. So for the first 3 months of your relationship with a guy, he doesn't give a fuck about your personality. He just cares about how you look. Generally speaking, I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying this as a general sense. For the first like 2 to 3 months, if you're dating a guy, he doesn't care about anything you have to say as long as you look good.
I
For
wouldn't
me,
say
it's
that.
different. For me, I like talking and getting to know the person before anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not me, but I'm saying that's like a lot of men.
Yeah.
Especially modern day men, because that's a big thing. Modern day men and modern day women are definitely, women say chivalry is dead and it's not, and then men say all women are hoes and they aren't.
Yeah.
It's just
That's
how they view modern day women and men, how each other views the other party, and
It's the way. It's the people that they're talking to.
yeah,
People
and
that they're
it's the
hooking up
group of
with
people.
and stuff like that.
Maybe those men maybe that chivalry is dead. Maybe those men that aren't chivalrous are only dating these hoes. You feel me?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the hoes are saying men aren't chivalrous, and these unchivalrous fuckboys are saying all women are hoes. Like, maybe y'all are looking at the wrong people.
That's pretty much what's happening.
Maybe I think a big thing for me when I tell a girl, whenever I've talked to a girl or something, like, I'm like, you got to think outside the box, right? Date outside your comfort zone. I tell people this all the time. I tell guys this all the time. Date outside your comfort zone, because you never know. I've dated every race other than Indian. I'm working on it.
Working on it.
Well, I don't know if I'm working on it. I don't know. I have a person or two on my radar currently. So
Got them in the rotation.
No, not the rotation. I already told you I got rid of the rotation. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that on the air. We'll talk about that. That's a different topic for a different time, my boy. That's a different topic for a different. Don't expose me like that, my guy.
I'm not even gonna lie. I've been looking at Steam games for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what. Imagine not being on cam.
Yeah, honestly, not being able to see shit. Well, I think
I've been on Steam game.
I think we have had a very good, thorough conversation. I don't know where we're at time wise, but I think we're gonna start wrapping it up. What do you think?
It's been well past an hour.
Yeah. In closing, like, let's
how long have we been going?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep talking until we sign off. Yeah. There's a lot of things.
I'm gonna go and eat here soon. So
yeah, there's a lot of things about society that are very different now, and I think ultimately, be yourself. I'm gonna be myself. Brandon's gonna be himself. Sinan is currently being himself in his relationship. Be yourself, right? Talk.
Communicate.
Talk. Be honest.
Communicate.
Right.
Be honest.
Don't strip your partner of their goals and dreams and aspirations, bro. Like, if they like something, let them fucking like it. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. If that nigga likes fucking goddamn Legos, bro, let him like Legos. Don't strip him of what he likes. And I understand. I know what I said. This video's getting demonetized.
Legos are dope anyway. Like,
yeah, if they like Legos, let them like Legos. Don't shit on their dreams.
Legos are cool anyway.
Let them like what they like. If he likes Star Wars, like, if he wants to build a Death Star out of Legos, let him build a Death Star out of Legos.
That's facts.
Right? Buy him the Death Star for Legos for Christmas.
Facts. And men, bro, if your girl, if she wants to wear makeup,
let them know you're there for their interests as well. Don't just leave them leave them there and let them do their interests. Let them know, like,
like, if she likes makeup, bro, let her, like, even if you don't like the way makeup looks, or if you don't like it on her, if she says she's doing it because she likes it, bro, let her fucking like it.
Get her $100 gift card to a makeup store.
Absolutely, positively. No, don't do that dumb shit. Absolutely.
For Christmas, bro.
Maybe for Christmas. I ain't doing that shit randomly. I'll tell you that, my nigga. We'll go to a store and maybe you might get $35 out of me. Now, let me stop. I know damn well I spent way more than that on every girl I've ever been with.
I know. I was about to say.
Let me stop.
Mr. used to be a yes man.
Relax. I know my worth now. I know my worth, King.
I know.
That's what it's all about, is knowing your worth.
Knowing your worth. Know your worth as a person. Know your worth. Know your worth.
Yeah.
Know your worth.
That's
facts. You don't know your worth, nobody knows your worth. And then you'll just get run over and taken advantage of. You'll be with the people that you're not supposed to be with. Anybody, if you're with somebody that you're unhappy with, it's because you don't understand your worth and you're sticking with them anyway. Know your worth. I know my worth, and I refuse to settle. Refuse to settle.
Also, something that you should know is know your future worth too. Don't just know the worth that you are right now. Know the worth that you want to be.
Facts. If somebody's not willing to help you reach the you that you need to reach, do that shit on your own then. If they're holding you back, leave their ass. Know your worth. This has been Wednesday night. Wake up.
I got the name.
The Wednesday night wake up. I'm your boy Jordan Altyd overrein.
I'm your boy Branddoggy the third.
The third. Oh my! It gets longer every time. Swear to God. STG. Sinan the Great, or just Sinan.
All right, and we hope you enjoyed. Of course, if you enjoy, you can always follow us on Spotify, Apple Music. This will be on all other streaming platforms. And this is weekly
Oh,
Wednesday night wake ups
there's
every week.
we also are Brandon and Jordan do a League of Legends podcast
We do
every
a podcast,
Friday.
podcast for League of Legends, low elo. Look for it. That will also be on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify.
We're not on Spotify or Apple Music right now, right?
Not yet. This one will be. Relax.
Are you gonna put them on the Apple Podcast app?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This will be on Apple, Spotify, hopefully Amazon as well. I'm gonna try.
I didn't know Amazon had a podcast thing.
They have a music section for podcasts. Yeah. Yeah. This has been Wednesday night. This has been Wednesday night wake up. Signing off.
Bye, everyone.
Go ahead. Turn around.